But how can I share my screen also, because वो कर पाऊंगा ना मैं, I'll do that.
Yes, sir. Now the meeting will go live. Sir, we are live. You can share your screen.
Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Just a quick check. Hi, Ayush. Good evening. Thank you so much for responding. Right, Rakshit. Thank you so much for confirming that my voice is completely audible to everyone. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Good to see. And apology for joining little 2-3 minutes late, because there was some technical glitch and I wanted to join in time, but for some reason I was not able to. Okay. So no worries. We'll just try and make it a wonderful session, which will help you a lot, and the purpose of this should be solved, right? Wonderful. Great. Good to see all of you. Thank you so much for waiting and now joining. Wonderful, guys. Wonderful. Okay. Voice is not clear. That's what mini option seller by the name is saying. Is it okay with everyone? All of you are able to hear me properly, or is it like my voice is not coming clearly? Can I have one more time acknowledgement from you people that whether I'm okay? Fair enough. So that means my voice is coming clearly. That's what I wanted to confirm. Right. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So beat the competition and moving from 70 to 90 plus percentile. So first of all, what I'll do is that I'll just take care of your Q&A also, maybe in the last 5-6 minutes. The first initial will be targeting how to go from 70 to 90, because at the end of the day, that is something which is very, very important, what we are here for, right? So beat the competition where people are indulging themselves in celebrating Diwali. What we'll do is nothing but will celebrate Diwali. Yes, of course, this is one festival we'll be enjoying. But at the same time, what we're going to do is nothing but we'll just try and few more things we'll do so that we can increase our chances to reach our desired destination. So that's something which is very, very important, right? So going from 70 to 90, that's the first thing which is there. Now, first of all, I should have a clarity about what exactly score is needed to get 70, and if I have to go to 90 plus, so what is the score needed? Because if I'm playing a football match and there's no goal post, what is the use and for what I'm playing? That means complete clarity has to be there, because then only I'll be able to strategize my preparation, strategize my remaining days that are there with me to effectively use it. That is something which is very, very important, right? So therefore, in the next 1 hour or so, what we'll be doing is nothing but we'll just try and understand one, what is the score needed? How can we get that? What are the things that I need to do in the remaining days so that I can make it the most memorable process, and thereby I'll be able to reach where I want to be. Now, when you talk about CAT 2024, and the level of difficulty was easier as compared to the previous 2 years. And then when you talk about to get 90 percentile, the score needed was nothing but 22 marks. So you get 22, you get 99 percentile. That is nothing but when I talk about CAT 2024. And when you talk about a score of 70 percentile, this was somewhere in the vicinity of 8 to 9. So going from 8 to 9 marks, which effectively is solving 3 questions, to close to 7 to 8 questions is something which I need to target in order to cross that 90 plus barrier. Yes, it is easy. So today we'll discuss that only. What are the things that you need to do? One, obviously, I'll be talking about a lot of shortcuts today where you will be trying to use them so that when you come across a question, you'll be able to think in the right direction. And I've taken most of the questions from the previous year CAT paper only. You talk about CAT 23, CAT 24. Prior to that also, when the CAT went online, and also after 2017, I've pick up those questions which are very, very important, and we'll try and learn some of the innovative ways to solve them. Now, apart from that, one more thing that you are supposed to do if you want to reach closer to your desired score that you want in the CAT, especially in the QA section. So I would sincerely advise each one of you to just go through our QA marathons. There are 3 sessions which have taken by Amit sir. AAG, I hope you have seen that. You must have seen that. If you have not seen it, please ensure that do watch that. Arithmetic, algebra, and geometry. The 3 most important pillars which are there when it comes to QA is concerned. And Amit sir has taken a wonderful session, QA marathon in that. So please ensure that you have to watch it if you want that you will be able to keep yourself and you will be there at a place where you want to be. Right? So please ensure that that's 1. 2, I'll also be talking about some of the shortcuts which will sincerely help you. So the purpose is not to solve and give you the tougher question. The idea is nothing but how to tackle a question so that we'll be able to solve that. Right? Okay. So that's the first thing. Now, one more thing which I always want is nothing but the plan of action for the next few days that we are left with. One, obviously, conceptual learning is something which is very, very important. And even if you have done it, you just have to go back, just look at your notes. And also the 2 more things which will be something which is very, very important. One, obviously, doing the SimCAT analysis. Use the revise button over there and then look out for all those questions which came in the previous SimCATs. You may have done the analysis of that, but we want to bring that into the fresh memory. Therefore, I need to use that wonderful button which is given by IMS to use that revise button so that we'll be able to go through all those questions which came from a particular topic in all the SimCAT that I've taken. That's something which is very, very important because then only I'll be able to see myself solving those questions which are at par with what we came across in the previous CAT and also will be encountering. 2, solving PYQs are very, very important. And when I say solving PYQs, PYQ makes us enable to handle those questions which are of the same level as we'll be coming across. So these 2 things are there along with the revision of the concept of the material and then followed by PYQs and revise button, revise all the questions from a particular topic so that everything is there in the fresh memory. And then apart from that, I'll be solving. So I'll take you to the first question. We'll start in the meanwhile, I'll just keep on talking about other things also, which will be very, very handy for you. Moving on to the next. Okay, now look at the question. As I mentioned, question will not be tough. It's just about you need to look at this question. I'll just try and tell what could be the possible way of interacting it. And then I'll give you a question which came in CAT 2023 as well. Please look at this question and tell me. Yes. The selling price of 2 items is same. If profit incurred on the first item is 25% and the loss incurred on the second item is 20%, find the overall profit or a loss percent on the whole transaction. So just wait for another 15 seconds and then I want all of you to give it a thought, come with an answer. Okay, now look at this question. It says selling price for two items is same. If profit is this and on the other item loss is this, find the overall profit. So the best way to solve these kind of question when it comes to arithmetic is concerned is with the help of multiplying factor. Now we've been talking about day in and day out while doing arithmetic during our classes also that multiplying factor is a very, very important tool. Now, when I talk about this question, we know that if there is a profit of 25%, that means my selling price upon cost price, the ratio of that will be equal to, I can say 125 by 100, or I can also say 5 by 4. Because I can say 25% is 1 by 4. On the base of 4, there's an increase of 1. That means multiplying factor is going to be 5 by 4. Directly, you should come to that. Similarly, loss on the second is going to be nothing but 20%. So therefore, I can say for the second item, SP upon CP is coming out to be nothing but 4 by 5. So profit on the first is going to be 25%. Therefore, multiplying factor is 5 by 4, while on the other is 4 by 5. And this is nothing but my SP upon CP. Now, if you read the question very carefully, what they have given is nothing but the selling price of both the items is same. Now, if the selling price is same, that means this part, which is the selling price, in both the cases has to be same, but it is not same. That means what I need to do is nothing but just need to make that same. Now, how can I do that is nothing but to make 5 and 4 same is nothing but think of a number which comes in the table of 5 and 4, which is nothing but 20. So we'll try to make both the numbers 20. So therefore, in order to make it 20, I'll just multiply with 4. So therefore, this 20 upon 16 will be same as 5 by 4, means there is a profit of 25%. In the other case, I will multiply with 5 and therefore I end up getting nothing but 20 upon 25. Now, if you carefully observe, if the SP of the first is 20 while the CP is 16, while in the other case, SP is 20 while the CP is 25. So I've made the SP same. Now, the moment it is same, now I can say my total SP is going to be 20 plus 20 is my total SP. While my total CP is going to be nothing but 16 plus 25, which is 41. So I'm purchasing it for 41, but selling it for 20. That means there is a loss of 1 rupee on the base of 41 into 100, which will give me nothing but my loss percent. Now, more often than not, what I've seen is nothing but in this kind of question, what people do is nothing but they just do that, okay, apply the success chain, which is not right. Coincidentally, when you take 20% profit, 20% loss, it is coming out to be nothing but 4% loss. We have done that, P square by 100%. But it is just a coincidence. There is no successive change you can apply to these kind of a question. So this is the best way to look at it. And you'll see that I'll show you the question also which came in CAT can be solved easily based on that. Others, I hope it's clear. Rakshit, please check it. It is not that. So this is how I'll be solving and getting the answer. Always keep one thing in mind. Whenever this kind of question, final upon initial value based on that SP upon CP, try and solve and get the answer. Right? Now, look at the one more question which is based on almost on the same line. I'll just give it to that also which came in CAT. Right? Okay. So, but before that, let's try and solve one more question. Again, a real CAT question which is there. 1 minute to read and solve and share your answer. I'm just looking at your responses, and then we will talk about how this question, or if we tweak the data, can be done. I'll just take care of all your query. Don't worry at all. In the last few minutes, I'll be talking about all this and probably will tell you more about, because of the questions that I've received, how we have to take care of algebra, which all things in that, Some people are asking about geometry also. What is the Mool Mantra? So that QA marathon, which I'm talking about, that's something which is very, very important. Please ensure that, do watch that. You'll be able to get yourself updated with everything which is required. Along with that, I'll also give you a few tips. Okay. Now it says, if Fatima sells 60 identical toys at 40% discount on the printed price, that is MRP, then she makes 20% profit. 10 of these toys are destroyed in fire. While selling the rest, how much discount should be given on the printed price so that she can make the same amount of profit? Okay, Rakshit, we want the same amount of profit. And then we'll change this value and then try and identify how my answer will be impacted in this. Okay, Rakshit. Now look at this. If I say 60 toys are there and then they have talked everything in terms of percentage, no numerical value is being asked. So one best way is nothing but whenever everything is there in percentage, you assume any numerical value and start solving it. Because the question says, what is the discount now I'll be offering? And I know discount is offered on MRP. So therefore, what I should do is nothing but I should assume an MRP and start solving it. So if I say, if my MRP or a printed price per toy is going to be 100 rupees. And I know I'm giving a discount of 40%. So therefore, discount is equal to 40 rupees because I know on 100, that's going to be nothing but 40%. And once I get this as 40% is the discount, so therefore my selling price will become nothing but 60 rupees. So this is, if I assume that mark price for the one toy is going to be this, so I end up getting this. Now, I know there are 60 identical toys. And when I'm selling at 60 rupees, they have mentioned that profit is 20%. So I know my profit is 20% and my selling price is nothing but 60 rupees. So ideally you should be able to identify that what should be my cost price. So can I say my cost price is going to be nothing but, because this 60 is going to be nothing but 120% of my cost price, or you can say SP upon CP equal to 6 by 5. So therefore my CP will become 50. Right? So therefore 100, 40, 60, and we end up getting nothing but this. Now, the total cost for 60, if I talk about MRP for 60 is going to be nothing but 6,000 rupees. Discount of 40% on that. So therefore, I am charging 60% of that. So for one, if it is 60, so therefore, can I say for 60 item, it will be nothing but 3,600. And the cost price for this will be, because cost price for one is going to be nothing but 50. So therefore, cost price for that 60 item will be nothing but 3,000 rupees. I hope I'm making sense in that. Now just observe it. I've done it just to show you, but please observe now one very, very important thing. Now I know because 10 toys are destroyed. So now I've got only 50 toys with me, and therefore I know MRP for those 50 toys will be 5,000. Can I say so or not? Now in the question, I know because I want the same amount of profit. So therefore, total amount that I need to earn now also should be equal to 3,600. Can I say not? Because then only I will not be incurring any change in profit amount, because the question says my amount of profit will be same. So therefore, ultimately now also I need to sell that at 3,600 only, because my cost price would remain same. It's just that it got destroyed, but my cost is involved in that. That means it will remain same. So therefore, in order to earn the same amount of profit, my overall selling price should not change and should be nothing but 3,600 only. But earlier, I was giving a discount of 40% on 6,000 because I have to reach to this 3,600. Can I say now my MRP for the item is going to be nothing but 5,000? But again, I need to reach that 3,600. Can I say so not? So now what I have to do is nothing but I have to give a discount of 1,400 on that MRP of 5,000. Therefore, into 100, if I multiply, I end up getting what will be my discount? That will be 28%. Please observe it very carefully. This is how I will be able to calculate and get the answer. Now, important in that is going to be nothing but they have given you this 20% so that you'll try to calculate the cost price. And once you're able to calculate the cost price, then you see, okay, from this, and then what you'll do nothing but you'll again do the same thing, and from cost price, you'll just go to that place. Now, let's understand it. In this case, I know if I give a discount, after that, now this is something I need to charge. Now, if my toys are destroyed, I know in order to have a same amount of profit, now I will be charging these 3,600 rupees from those toys that I'm left with, which are 15 number, and therefore MRP is nothing but 5,000, but I need to get 3,600 out of those. Therefore, I have to give a discount of 1,400 on that MRP of 5,000, and therefore my answer is going to be nothing but 28%. So even if instead of that 20%, they'll give you 12.5% or 25% or something else, I know in order to have the same amount of profit, I will be giving the same answer, which is 28%, and therefore that is my answer in that. I hope it's clear. This is again a question which I have picked from the real cat in the last 2 years only. And when this kind of a question is given and you are there under that pressure of taking the actual test and you're thinking too much about the result also, so you always think that everything is there for a purpose, and therefore you try to use that 20% and then end up getting this. And I've met with a lot of engineers. What they do is nothing but they, instead of assuming a value to be 100, they just start assuming a value to be maybe X or something else in a variable and then start solving it. Now, I'm not saying you cannot do this, but the point is there's a paucity of time. The time is limited. Therefore, how am I solving? That is also very, very important. Along with that, which question I'm solving, that is also very important. The order is something which is very, very important. Even if I have to solve 14 questions, 15 questions, 16 questions, but the order of attempt is going to be something which is very, very important. Right? So therefore, yeah, Gunjan, just observe it. In this case, when you observe, my cost price would be nothing but 3,000 only. Can I say if my cost price is going to be nothing but 3,000? Now, if there are some toys which are destroyed, if there are some toys that are destroyed, my cost will be for that 60 toys only. Can I say so not? Because that cost will be for 60 toys, even if those 10 are destroyed, and therefore I cannot sell it, but the cost is involved in that. So that means now if you have to go it by this method, so you'll say, okay, now I've got 50 toys which are there, which I'm left with, and the cost price was 50 per toy when the toys were 60, and therefore the total cost was 3,000. So now again, my cost would remain 3,000. And in order to earn a same profit of 600, that is what I want. So therefore, what I need is nothing but I just have to give a discount on that 50 toys such that I end up selling it for the same amount of total selling price as I was doing it. And that is why we have done this. Please check, Gunjan. I hope it's clear. Okay, look at this again. I'm saying that if I say, I'll just talk about that so that there should not be any confusion in that. If I look at 60 identical toys, if I say the MRP is going to be nothing but for each is going to be 6,000, 100 rupees. Therefore, total MRP is going to be 6,000. They're giving a discount of 40%. So I know I am charging 3,600 rupees, and therefore this is my selling price, and my profit is 20%. So therefore my cost price is going to be 3,000 rupees. Since my cost price is going to be 3,000 rupees, it will remain 3,000. Now, if I destroy some of the toys, I know my total cost involved in making those is going to be 3,000 only. And in order to earn the same amount of profit, that is going to be, that means I need to sell it for 3,600. So now, irrespective of the number of toys, I know I need to give a discount in such a way such that I'm able to give that for 3,600. But now, since 10 toys are not there, they have destroyed because of fire. So therefore now I've got only 50 toys, and that has to be sold for 3,600, and therefore I get this. Correct? Yes. So question is not tough. And in most cases, if they give you none of these also, probably you would have marked none of these because you would have thought that 38% the answer, which is not right. Right? So that's how I can do that. Okay, move on to the next question. Now, this question is taken, I mean, all of you who are a part of IMS will be able to observe this and can recall this. Yes, Srijan, I'll be taking that. Look at this question. I hope you can recall it also. I found this. It's there in the one of the SimCat only, but it's a wonderful question. And I've seen that average number of people who have spent, they have spent more than 2.5 minutes to get to an answer to this question. So I thought of taking it. It's a good question. I want each one of you to give it a thought, and I'm waiting for each one of you to share your answer so that I can see the answer that you've got in this. So even if you are able to recall, I don't mind it. I mean, because ultimately you have put in an effort to do that, and that is why you're getting the answer. It's perfectly okay. So it's all about exposure. On a certain day in class, which had fewer than 1,100 students, fewer than 100 students enrolled in, 86 whole 2 by 3% students were present. Among all students enrolled in the class, 4% girls and 20% boys were absent. If all the students of class were either a boy or a girl, and the number of boys exceeded that of the girls by 10, then the total number of students enrolled in the class was. Now, again, the learning that I need to look at from there is going to be nothing but this is one of those questions where if I go with the normal method, I can always do it. But then I always talk about that inside the class also, that always when you get a percentage, try to convert that in a fraction so that you'll be able to know how to approach these kind of questions. So understanding it very, very important. One, they've given that 100 students are there, and then stated 86 whole 2 by 3% students were present. Now, if I write this 86 whole 2 by 3% is nothing but 86 into 3 plus 2 upon 3%. A whole B upon C is going to be nothing but I've just converted that into this. When you multiply 86 with 3, that's going to be 258 plus 2, 260 by 3% of the students were present, and the number of students were less than 100. Now, if you write this in fraction, so that's going to be 260 upon 3 into 100, which after simplification will become 13 by 15. Now, this is very important. So now, in other words, the question says on a certain day in a class which had fewer than 100 students, 13 by 15th of the students were present. Now, the moment I look at this, can I say number of students should be a multiple of 15? Because 13 by 15 is present. So therefore 2 by 15 is absent. Therefore, that number of students should be a multiple of 15. So the moment I look at the question, straight away what should come to my mind? Going to be nothing but number of students are the multiple of 15. Therefore, it could be 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90. All possibility could be there. That's what we got to know. Right? Straight away it come to my mind. Now, among all the students enrolled in the class, 4% girls and 20% boys were absent. Now, girls who were absent are 4%. And I know 4% is 4 by 100, which is nothing but 1 by 25 of the girls were. So what do I infer from that is going to be nothing but that the number of girls are nothing but in the multiple of 25. Because the moment they say 4% girls were absent, so 1 by 25 is going to be multiple of 25. So it could be 25, number of girls could be 50, could be 75, could be only these three possibilities, because I know the number of girls, total number of students are nothing but less than 100. So that means this is, and number of boys were 20% boys were absent. So therefore, for boys, it is 20%, it's got to be nothing but 1 by 5. So therefore, number of boys should be a multiple of 5, while the number of girls should be a multiple of 25. Right? Now, a very, very important statement that they've given, if all students of the class were either a boy or a girl, and number of boys exceeded number of girls by 10. So boys are more than girls, and the difference nothing but 10. Now, the moment I look at this, I can say the number of girls could be 25 or 50 or 75. And the number of girls are nothing but this, because it has to be less than 100. So therefore, number of boys who are 10 more than the girls will be either 35 or 60 and so on and so forth. But I know the total strength is less than 100. So if these are the people who are there, the sum will be 60. This will be more than 100. Hence cannot be my answer. And that means the only possibility is going to be nothing but 60. And therefore, when they say how many, it's going to be 60. So that's the power of fraction. Multiplying factor, fraction, you should be very good at it, because this is something which will be used more often than not in almost every question, if not all, almost most of the question in the arithmetic, and you use it in the DI also, right? So therefore, you need to practice all these, keep on revising all these reciprocal. When I say 1 by 7, 1 by 13 and so on and so forth, you should be able to straight away count that 1 by 7 is 14.28, all these stuff. So percent is the most important part. Please ensure that you should be able to revise all these things out here. Right? So therefore, this is how it could have been done. 13 by 15, the moment you do that, now merely by looking at this 1 by 25, it's going to be multiple of 25, and then the number of boys has to be 10 more. Hence, there's only one option. Therefore, I'll get the answer. Correct. We've got a correct answer by few people. That's good. Wonderful. Okay, moving forward now. Look at this question again, a real cat question 23. And you can now relate it with something we have already done that. I just want you to give it a thought, spend 1 minute, and then I'll tell you how this question can be attempted with minimal effort. Geeta sells two objects A and B at the same price. Selling price is same, such that she makes a profit of 20% on the object A and a loss of 10% on the object B. If she increases the selling price such that object A and B are still sold at the equal price, price is same, and the profit of 10% is made on the object B, then profit made on the object A will be nearest to a real cat question. Correct ones. Wonderful. Now, this is the power of Solving the PYQs. If you have done PYQ, automatically you'll be able to recall and your brain will work at a faster pace. That's what I always want. Please ensure that these PYQs along with SimCats are very, very important. Solving those questions of PYQ and then coming across those kind of a question which are of the same level that we expect. And automatically you'll see that your speed will become wonderful, great, good. Hi, Alamin. Good to see you. Little late, but no worries. Please try and solve it. Okay, it says selling price is same in the first case because my profit is 20%. So I will say SP upon CP is equal to 6 upon 5. While the loss on the second is 10%. So therefore, this is for A. For the B, it is nothing but 9 by 10. That's the ratio of SP upon CP. And the moment they say same selling price, so therefore, to make it same selling price, I need to think of what is the LCM of 6 and 9, which is going to be 18. So therefore, multiplying with 3 and here multiplying with 2, what I'm going to do is nothing but I end up getting 18 by 15 and this has 18 by 20. And I've made that SP upon CP where I made the both SP same. Now the question hasn't stopped here. Now what they are asking now, look at if she increases the selling price such that object A and B are still sold at the equal price. That means selling price is still same, but they have increased it. Correct, Preeti. Wonderful. Very good. Now, since they have increased it such that there is a profit of 10% on the object B. Now, object B, which earlier was sold at 18 if the cost price was 20, now it is sold at 10% profit. So 10% profit means on that 20, we want a profit of 2 rupees. Therefore, now the new SP for that will be 22. Can I say so not? Because the moment they say, look at this question, look at this statement, at a profit of 10% is made on the object B. So therefore, this selling at 22. Can I say so not? And now I know still the selling price is same. Therefore, if the object B is sold at 22, so I need to sell the object A also at the same price. So instead of 18, it will also be sold at 22. Now there are 22 by 15 and 22 by 20 because I need to make the SP same. And now the question says, what is the approximate profit on A? Now, if you look at for A, SP upon CP is coming out with this. Therefore, there's a profit of 7 rupee on the base of 15 into 100. And the moment you multiply, it's coming out with nothing but 5 3s are 20s are 140 by 3, which is nothing but 46.66%, which is very, very close to this. And hence my answer. And look at the options are very close. But if you follow this approach, that SP upon CP multiplying factor, you can do these kind of question in less than 1 minute. But yes, it has to be backed by practice, understanding what is given, and also solving a lot of questions on the same lines. PYQs, SimCat, and also just ensure that what's that arithmetic marathon, because that will really help you. Right? I hope I'm making sense in that. Moving further, go on to the next question, have a look at it. Okay, a very simple question, but a powerful way to solve it. Two mixture X and Y contain A and B in the ratio 2:3 and 3:5 respectively. X and Y are mixed in the ratio 2:3. Find A is to B in the resultant mixture. After mixing X and Y, we are getting it. So my question is, what is the ratio of A is to B in the resultant mixture? Again, 30 seconds. Yeah, please have a look at it. Observe the data and then we'll just do this. Waiting for the responses also. Okay. Now, in the previous questions, we have seen the power of fraction, multiplying factor, how it can be used effectively to get the answer. Now here, again, a very, very basic things. Subhranshu will just check that. The answer is going to be slightly different from that. So we'll just check that. We'll just check that. But good try. I mean, I want people to get try, because the moment you keep on indulging, probably then if I tell you, you'll be able to identify the gap between where you are and where you have to be, and where is the thing that you actually missed, so that next time you cannot. Right. So that process has to be there. Perseverance has to be there. You need to stay calm. Do not think much about the result. I know it's very important, but try to enjoy the process, because that is something which is very, very important. Right? Now, if I look at this, okay, let me now do it. Please observe, the first is X, in which, correct, Alameen, wonderful. The answer is correct. A and B is in the ratio 2:3, while in Y, A and B is in the ratio 3:5. And what am I doing is nothing but I'm mixing these two in the ratio 2:3. And now they're asking, what is the value of this? Now let's look at the power of, Preeti is going to be different from that. Others different from that. We'll just try and look at it. Please observe it. So what exactly we need to keep in mind? I know in the question they've mentioned that I'm mixing them in the ratio 2:3. Now we know that you multiply ratio with any number, my answer doesn't change. That means if the ratio is 2:3, I can multiply with 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. I know as long as I'm multiplying on both sides, the answer will not change. Now, whenever you have to tackle these kind of a question, what I'll do is nothing but, what you should keep that in mind is nothing but 2 plus 3 is 5, and this 3 plus 5 is 8. So one of the, in X, A plus B is equal to 5, while in Y, A plus B equal to 8. So whatever ratio they are saying that you need to mix that, the first step you will be doing is nothing but you'll try to make that same. Now, when you say I'm making that same, so one of them is 2 plus 3, 5, the other is 3 plus 5, 8. So 5 and 8, look out for an LCM of 5 and 8, which is nothing but equal to 40. So the first step, please observe it very carefully. What we will always do is nothing but we will multiply first this by 8 and this by 5. I know multiplying ratio with any number does not change the value. Now look at the moment I do this. Now if you multiply with 8, so it will be 16:24, which is actually sum is 40. While in the second case, it is 15:25, again the sum is 40. So basically trying to say is nothing but, what I'm trying to say is nothing but we just made it same. We just made it same. Now, once I made it same, but in the case question, they mentioned that I have to mix in the ratio 2:3. Now, when I say I need to mix in the ratio 2:3, what does it mean? It means that if I'm taking 2 parts of X, I will take 3 parts of Y. Now, but at this point of time, what I've done is nothing but I have taken equal. When I multiply with 8 and multiply by 5, I've just taken that equal. To make it 2 and 3, what I'll do is nothing but straight away multiply this with 2 and multiply with 3. Now, automatically you will see the first and the second, now they are in the ratio 2:3. And now you can simply solve. Please observe it. Now in X, A is to B, I'm writing it as 16 into 2, 32 is to 48. While in the Y, I'm just saying that A and B are in the ratio. This is 15 into 3, 45 is to 75. So now I got to know 32, 48 and this, and I've already know that it is in the ratio 2:3. You don't have to worry about that. Look at what's the total amount of A. 32 plus 45 is going to be 77, while the total amount of B is going to be nothing but 48 plus 75, which is 123. And that is what my answer is. So look at the process, what I've done. I've just stated whatever the ratio they have mentioned it, your first aim will be nothing but try to make these two same. And once you are able to make it same, why? How? By looking at what is A plus B, what is A plus B in the two constituents. And once I have to make it same, so multiplying with 8, multiplying with 5, I've made it same. And now since I need to make them in the ratio 2:3, so multiplying first with 2, second with 3, and then simply add this, you'll get the answer. Charitesh, you can do that with different SPOs. Even if they say SPO1 is twice or half of that, we can do that also. The only thing is whatever they say, you need to make it, right? I hope it's clear with everyone. This is how I need to approach. I'll show you a question that came in CAT also based on this. And if you can do this, you will see that in that also I can still recall there was a question. And if you follow the normal approach, you'll take a lot of time. There are multiple ways of doing it. You can take, okay, 2 liter for the first and 3 liter for the second, and then calculate how many liter of A and B are there in first and also in the second. And then adding all this, you have to deal in fraction, you can get the answer. But the point is, look at the smarter way of attempting it. When they say ratio is 2:3, it could be 20, 30, it could be 200, 300, it could be anything. That means based on this, I can do this. Yes, Yashika, it will remain on the YouTube for you people only. You can watch it again also, because there will be some occasion that you may take more time to absorb, right? But this is how you can do that. Moving forward, look at this. Now, this was the question again in CAT. Anil mixes, yes, please read it. It says, Anil mixes cocoa with sugar in the ratio 3:2 to prepare mixture A, and coffee with sugar in the ratio 7:3 to prepare mixture B. He combines mixture A and B in the ratio 2:3 to make new mixture C. If he mixes C with an equal amount of milk, to make a drink, then the percentage of sugar in this drink will be. Clash Royale, I think there could be some problem. Maybe please check it at your end. So if I follow the same methodology that I'm doing earlier, this is a real CAT question. It's a cocoa to sugar in the first is 3:2, while important is coffee with sugar. Is given as 7:3. This is A and this is B. Now they're saying that he combines the mixture A and B in the ratio 2:3 to make a new mixture C. If he mixes C with equal amount of milk to this. Now I am mixing in the ratio 2:3. So can I say, since I'm mixing in the ratio 2:3, first of all, I need to make it same. Now 3 plus 2 is 5, 7 plus 3 is 10. So therefore, multiplying this with 2, I know now the first is 10, second is also 10. That means now both are equal. But the question says, I have to mix them in the ratio 2:3. So therefore, I will multiply with 2 and multiply this with 3 so that I'm able to make that in the ratio 2:3. And now, if you multiply in the first 4 into 3, 12 is cocoa and 8 is sugar. And in the next, it's going to be 21 is coffee and 9 is sugar. Now, just to check, you can always observe it. 12 plus 8 is 20, 21 plus 9 is 30, ratio is 2:3, which they have mentioned. That means I'm on track. Now, when this is combined, so I got to know cocoa, coffee, and sugar. So cocoa will remain 12 only, coffee will be 21, while sugar is 8 plus 9, which is 17. So after mixing, correct, Subhranshu, the answer is correct. Kuhu, we need to just check that because they're talking the percentage of sugar. I think you have miscalculated it and calculated for the coffee. Now, this is which is there. And now what they're saying is nothing but if he mixes C with an equal amount of milk to make a drink. Now, we are also adding a milk and the amount of milk is same as the new mixture C. So now if you look at this 12 plus 21 plus 17, which is 50. So equal means now the milk added is also 50. So now this is the drink which is ready to be taken. And now they're asking, what is the percentage of sugar in that? Now I know sugar is 17 on a scale of 100, straight away 17%, which is my answer. Correct? So no rocket science, just very basic, but the understanding the art of that when you multiply ratio with any number, the answer doesn't change. And that's what I need to keep in mind. Right? So a simple question, but this way you can make it easy. And there are a lot of questions which we talk about ratio, proportion, mixed allegation. You have to use this concept only. So please practice few of the questions which came in the CAT also. Also from the same CAT, you can actually select that mixed allegation, then start solving it. You will get those, right? That's how you'll be able to calculate. Moving forward. Now look at the next question. A question from circular motion. Pain area for some of the questions, some of the students. Please have a look at it. It says, Meera and Amal walk along a circular track starting from the same point at the same time. If they walk in the same direction, then in 45 minutes, Amal completes exactly 3 more rounds than Meera. If they walk in the opposite direction, then they meet for the first time exactly after 3 minutes. The number of rounds Meera walked in 1 hour is. Alamin, I hope it's clear. The earlier answer was 16%. Yes. Okay. Another 10 seconds and then I'll start with this. Okay, now just observing it. It says moving along a circular track. M and A, if they walk in the same direction, then after 45 minutes, Amal complete exactly 3 more rounds than Meera. Now we know that you must have done that also. You can recall that also. When two people are moving the same direction, to meet for the first time, faster runner has to complete 1 extra round than the smaller runner. To meet for the second time, faster runner has to cover 2 extra round than the slow runner. While to meet for the third time, similarly, we can say 3 extra round and so on and so forth. Now, in the question they have mentioned that after 45 minutes, Amal completes exactly 3 more rounds than Meera. That means after 45 minutes, when they are meeting, it is their third meeting. And if third meeting is happening after 45 minutes, therefore, I can say first meeting happens after 45 by 3, which is 15 minutes. And I know when first meeting, what does it mean? It means when they meet for the first time, faster runner has covered one extra round than the slower runner. That means I can say if Amal has covered, or I would say, let me write it. First meeting after 15 minutes for A and M. So if M covers n rounds, so therefore Amal, who's a faster runner, must have covered one extra round. So that means in 15 minutes, one of them has covered n round while the other has covered n plus round. Right? I hope it's clear with this. Now, looking at the other part of the story, which says if they walk in the opposite direction, they meet for the first time exactly after 3 minutes. And I know when two people are moving the opposite direction, to meet for the first time, together they have to complete one round. To meet for the first time, together they have to complete one round. That means in 3 minutes, both A and M completes one round. Now just observe this data. In 15 minutes, I know A has taken one extra round than what M has taken. So if M has taken n round, A has taken n plus one round. While when they are moving the opposite direction, we get to know that in 3 minutes, together they have taken one round. So can I say in 3 minutes, if together they have taken one round, so in that 15-minute span, together they have taken 5 rounds? Because I know from here, I can say every 3 minutes, they're taking together one round. So therefore, just multiply with 5 and I end up getting nothing but they will be taking 5 rounds together in that 15 minutes. So now if you combine, correct Pratham, it's right. Now if you combine in 15 minutes, together they are taking 5 round, and out of those 5 round, if M has taken n round, the N has taken n plus 1 round. So therefore, number of rounds taken by A and number of rounds taken by M in 15 minutes is equal to 5. Hence, I end up getting that value of N will be equal to 2. So therefore, M takes 2 rounds in 15 minutes while A takes 3 rounds. The question says the number of rounds taken by M, Meera, in an hour is. So every 15 minutes, if Meera is taking 2 rounds, so therefore the question says in 60 minutes, number of rounds taken by Meera will be correct. That's going to be nothing but 2 4s are 8 round because 15 minute 2 round. So therefore it's going to be 8 round and hence my answer. So the concept is important, which is in circular motion that you need to keep in mind is nothing but when two people are moving the same direction to meet for the first time, one extra round has to be taken by the faster runner to meet for the second time, 2 extra round to meet for the third time, 3 extra round, and so on and so forth. So number of extra round equal to number of meeting. While when they're moving the opposite direction, number of rounds taken together is equal to the number of meeting. So now what I did is nothing but no rocket science. I just did that. 45 minutes is the third meeting. So 15 minute first meeting, therefore one extra round. While in the other case, together they are able to take one round in 3 minutes. So together they'll be able to take 15 minutes. It'll be nothing but equal to 5 rounds. And I know that 5 round will be with a gap of 1 round because when they're moving the same direction, it's their first meeting. And from there, I can straight away calculate this. Right? So that's what I've explained it again. Please understand it. When two people are moving the same direction to meet for the first time, faster runner has to cover one extra round. Here in the question they've given 3 extra round in 45 minutes. So therefore 1 extra round 15 minutes. That's what the first step. The basic of circular motion. Similarly, when they move the opposite direction to meet for the first time, together they have to take one round. And from there, I get to know together they take one round. And from here, I will be able to calculate and get this done. Manthan, I hope it's clear. This is how we'll be able to calculate. Right? Okay, moving forward. Wonderful. Go ahead. A question came in CAT, a question from linear equation, very important in terms of how we can think logically to get to an answer. So this is one of those type where the number of variables are more, while the number of information or the number of equations are less. So in general, in these kind of a question, I know a number of variables are more and the number of equations are less. So we will not be able to uniquely identify the value of each of the variable. So they've not asked this. Instead of asking what is the value of each of the variable, they've asked, okay, what is the value of this particular thing? Right? So yeah, please have a look at it. It's a good question. And the approach is something which is wonderful, where if I have to get an answer, so probably if I follow that approach, you will see that every time you will be able to get to the answer. Okay. Let's observe and see how this should have been done. So purpose is not to give the tough question. Purpose is to give the relevant question. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Relevant, which we can expect, which are important, which can clear a lot of fundamental, I would say, put all the fundamentals on track. Right? Okay. It says at a certain fast food restaurant, Brian can buy 3 burgers, 7 shakes, and 1 order of fry for rupee 120. At the same place, it would cost 164.5 for 4 burgers, 10 shakes, and 1 order of fries. At the same place, now they're asking how much would it cost for an ordinary meal of 1 burger, 1 shake, and 1 order of fries. Now, one is obviously you just try and use the hit and trial approach, with which number the first should be multiplied and the second should be multiplied and added or subtracted so that we get this. Now, sometimes the multipliers are multiplying with 1 or a 2 or a 3 or -1 or something. We will be able to get an answer. But sometimes what happens, nothing but if the multiply, let's say into 5 and into -7 and then do it. So probably that kind of a calculation may not be correct, Vedika. It's the power of solving the PYQs. Absolutely wonderful. This is what I always want. As I mentioned, it's going to be of great help. Right? But then what I'll do is nothing but I'll just tell you the structured way of doing it. Right? Now the question is nothing but I've got 2 equations, 3 variable, correct others, right, Manthan? Absolutely correct. Wonderful to look into the answer and get it from you. Look at the approach, because I've taken it. You must have encountered that in the past, right? But let's say if they come with something else, what is the logical way to look at it? Now, if I have to get an answer, I don't know which are the 2 multipliers. So hypothetically, I'm not able to identify that. Let's say the multipliers are something which are not easy to crack. So what I'll do is nothing but, I'll just say that, okay, I will multiply this with K1 and this with K2. And finally, if I add these two, I will get what is required. And now my aim is to identify what is the value of K1 and K2. I hope I'm making sense in that. So now if I multiply first with K2, K1 and the second with K2 and add these two, so can I say what I end up getting is nothing but 3K1 plus 4K2 into B plus 7K1 plus 10K2 into S plus K1 plus K2 into O is equal to 120 K1 plus 164.5 K2. Now, I don't know what is K1, K2, but yes, I know if I multiply, I will get this equation. Now, my aim is to identify the value of K1 and K2 such that I will get 3K1 plus 4K2 equal to 1 because I know one burger I want to buy. Similarly, 7K1 plus 10K2 is equals to 1, and the third is going to be K1 plus K2 is also equal to 1. And now my aim is to identify. I know there are two variables. I require only two equations. Let's say if I pick up equation number 1 and 3, because ultimately I have to look out for an equation which will take less time. So if I pick up this, so it's like 3K1 plus 4K2 is equals to 1 and K1 plus K2 is equals to 1. If I multiply this equation with 3, because I need to eliminate one of the variable K1. So therefore, this will become 3K1 plus 3K2 is equal to 3. Now, if I subtract, let's say make this as equation number 1 and name this as 2. And if I subtract second equation from first, I end up getting K2 equals to minus 2. And when you put K2 equal to minus 2, let's say in the equation where the sum is equal to 2, so I will get K1 is equal to 3. So I get the value of K1 and K2 as 3 and minus 2 respectively. Now you will just put that in the other equation which is there, and you will observe it will automatically satisfy this. So the moment you put K1 equal to 3, 7th is a 21 minus 10 into 220, I end up getting 1. Yes, it is satisfied. So therefore, the moment I put K1 equal to 3 and K2 equal to minus 2, I am getting left hand side equal to what is required. So therefore, right hand side will be the cost of that, which is 120 into 3 minus 164.5 into 2, which is 360 minus 329, and therefore the difference is 31, which is my answer. Now, for some reason, if this particular value does not satisfy the other equation, so in that case, my answer will be I cannot determine. So if all the four options are numerical value, you don't have to do anything. You just don't have to even check that, because I know answer is there. And therefore, the moment you look at this, just put that value and get the answer. This is how we'll be able to solve this kind of question with 100% accuracy. Right? So this is straight away the way that you need to follow. So it's about knowing this shortcut so that I will always get a right answer. You may say that it will take little extra time, maybe 1 or 30 seconds extra. Yes, but the accuracy chances is also on the higher side, because if the multipliers are, as I mentioned, 5 and minus 7, you may not be able to recall it. Right? So this is how we'll be able to calculate and get this done. Correct? Moving forward. Okay. Look at this question. There are 3 persons A, B, C in a room. Again, the question is not tough, but it is from CAD, and we'll try and understand how we can do that in a lesser span of time with the thought process. So there are 3 persons A, B, C in a room. If person D joins the room, the average weight of person in the room reduces by X kg. Instead of D, if a person E joins the room, the average weight of the person in the room increases by 2x kg. If the weight of E is 12 kg more than that of D, then the value of X is. Right? So another 15 seconds only, because if you practice, you'll see that these kind of question, if you practice, will take very less time. I'm not saying you'll be able to take 15 seconds or something. I'm not quantifying that at this point of time. But yes, if you know the logical approach, you can always do it in no time. So there are three persons A, B, C in a room. It has mentioned it. So A, B, and C, they are already in the room. Now D joins in. The average of person in the room reduces by X kg. Now, correct, Jinesh. We can do that, what you are saying, but there the values were such that yes, you can always do it, and there are other ways also. But what am I trying to say is nothing but sometimes the multipliers are not very easy to identify. So there, this formula becomes handy because it's a foolproof method and you'll always get the answer. That's the point. Right? If I can do and think that mentally, nothing is better than that. Others absolutely correct. Wonderful. The answer is right for this question. I hope you understood this, Jinesh. What you're saying is absolutely correct. I'm not denying it. Okay, Neha. Okay, now look at this again. I know ABC, there is some average. The moment D joins in, now the average reduces by X kg per person. So that means D must be carrying something less than the average. Therefore, average reduces by X kg for all the 4 person. And when, correct Jinesh, and when it reduces by X kg per person, so therefore I can say D must be carrying 4x kg less than the average. Because then only that less 4x kg spread across all the 4 people, and therefore average reduces by x kg. While instead of D, if E joins, then the average increases by 2x kg. Now, average increases by 2x kg. That means E must be bringing more than the average. And when I say more than the average, so must be bringing that much extra such that everyone's average weight increases by 2x kg for all those 4 person. So therefore, E must be carrying 8 kg, 8x kg extra. Because then only 2x is increased by all 4 person. 8x kg extra than the average. So one is carrying 4x kg less, the other is carrying 8x kg extra. And they've given that the gap between these two in terms of their weight is going to be 12 kg. So therefore, I can say one is 4x less, the other is 8x more. Therefore, the gap is equal to 12x kg, which they have given is equal to 12. So therefore, I end up getting x equal to 1, and hence option number 2 is the answer. No rocket science, just a very basic, but you always have to keep that in mind. This is also one of those questions which I always say very important. Average is something which is very, very important. You come across a question which is directly based on that, or maybe indirectly which require this application. So whenever something enters the group with the extra weight, there's a surplus, therefore average increases. If go with some less than average deficit, average decreases. That's what I need to keep in mind. I hope it's clear. Okay, now we're there. The last question for the day. Please observe it. Look at this. A very simple question. A very simple question. Principal invested become 6 times in 6 years. When will it be 36 times? You must have solved this question multiple times. right? Principal invested becomes 6 times in 6 years. When will it become 36 times? Quickly waiting for correct others. Wonderful. Very good. Good. So again, the idea is not to give you the tough question. The idea is to give you the relevant question, how we can think mentally without even picking up pen for most of the question. That's something which is very, very important. Principal invested becomes 6 times in 6 years. When will it become 36 times? Correct, Jinesh. Very rightly stated. Absolutely correct. Now, the basic thought process while doing a question which are based on SI is nothing but the amount of interest which is earned is same throughout. Because the interest is always accrued on the principal that we have invested. So therefore, it will always remain same. Right? So that means if I'm getting 100 rupees per year as interest, it'll remain 100 only, and similarly for the other values also. Now, just observe it. When they say principal becomes 6 times in 6 years, that means if the principal invested is P, so the amount will become 6P. That's what 6 times means. And the time taken to get this is equal to 6 years. Now, one way is nothing but you calculate the rate of interest and then do it, which you can, but then please observe it carefully. Principal becomes 6 times in 6 years. So therefore, here I will say, this is my investment, this is my amount. So therefore, my interest is equal to 5P. If I invested P, I get 6P. Out of those 6P, P was mine. Therefore, the interest is nothing but 5P. You can take it 100, 600 and 500 also because it's same. Because when they never give you or if they don't give you a value in terms of absolute, you may take that 100, 600, 500. Simple, you can do that. Now, they're saying when will it become 36 times? That means when will this amount P amounts to 36P? Now, in order to get that, what I want is nothing but I want a simple interest of, right? Absolutely correct, Neha. I want a simple interest of 35P. Now, because I know interest is same throughout, I am getting an interest of 5P in 6 years. You can say 500 also interest. I mean, it's the same thing. I'm getting an interest of 5P in 6 years. When will get an interest of 35P? Now, it's a unitary method. To go from 5P to 35P, I need to multiply by 7. So therefore, multiply by 7, I end up getting 42 years. And therefore, that is my answer. Because I know I'm getting an interest of 5P in 7 years, 6 years. So therefore, I'll get a interest of 1P in 6 by 5 and multiply by 35. You end up getting that. But you don't have to do that, directly multiply. And then if I give you a question, let's say 10 times, principal become 10 times in 10 years. When will it become 100 times? Principal become 10 times in 10 years. When will it become 100 times? Same question with different data, but now I want you to think like this. 10 times in 10 years, when will it become 100 times? Quickly waiting for the answers. Correct, Dinesh. Wonderful. Very good. That's the speed we require. And come by practice. No rocket science. Absolutely correct, Archit. Because I know here the interest is going to be 9 times. Here it is going to be 99 times. And this 9 happens in 10 years. So 99 will happen in how many years? Multiply by 11. And therefore, I end up getting 110 years. And that's the power of thinking mentally. And arithmetic is one of those areas where we always have 8 to 11 question. And if I'm thinking to get 90 plus percentile, if I'm not able to crack that, not able to reach closer to that, so arithmetic is one of those areas we have seen that. So what should be done from your end is going to be nothing but revising all the concept, right from percentage to profit loss to SICI, ratio, proportion, time, speed, distance, time and work, misalligation. We've got minimum 8. It can go to 11 as well. We've seen that. So 8 to 11 question. In order to do that, I'm not saying every question can be done or cannot be done. I'm not commenting on that. But then what we do is nothing but we'll just revise every concept, solve the PYQs, take every SIMCAT very seriously, and also analyze it and use the revise button. Along with that, AAG, Amit sir has already put in that effort to put that QA marathon. So please ensure that do watch that also, because that's going to be something which is very, very important, and you'll be able to just it'll open the brain how you can think innovative. And then applying this concept of multiplying factor and also the power of multiplying ratio with any number, you will see that a lot of questions can be done in no time. So the point is, in the next few days that we have just talked about, you have to be on your toes. One, obviously we'll celebrate Diwali as I mentioned, but then I will utilizing that time also so that I can practice these shortcuts, solve those questions from the PYQs, watch that YouTube videos. Along with that, ensure that, let's say for QA, I think if you do this, nothing is better than that. Apart from that, when you take a sectional test, when you take a SIMCAT, if you realize that, okay, this is one of those areas where I'm not able to perform. So what you can do is nothing but you can go back, revise those concepts, then take a sectional test and try and see whether I can apply that or not. The thought process, right? And then again, take the next step. So it's all about training your brain, teaching your brain every time that there's a limited time and you have to do it in this time only. And try and attempt those questions in the order of A type and then B type. That means, first of all, I'll only be doing those questions which I know what is to be done. And also, I will take less time to do that. I always say that reach till the end, probably by the 20th minute or 18th minute or 21st, 22nd minute, depending upon your preparation, and try and see that you should not miss out on those 7 to 8 questions which are there. And then you can come back in the next 20 odd minute and then do it. This is for those people who are able to get a score of 32, 33, but not able to cross 40. But if I'm there at 70% and I need to go that 90, you just have to make it very simple. Go with the mindset that I'll be doing 10 questions, or rather than doing 10 questions, I'll be leaving 12 questions. So do not take, sorry, do not take things on your ego. Nobody will come and check which question you have done and how you have done, as long as you're getting it right. It's the net score which is going to be important. So try to leave the question, never fall in love with the question. If the question says, yes, it will take a little extra time, I will not do it. But then how will I be able to identify? Those data has to be backed. Clarity of thought is there, revising the concept, and then PYQs and the SIMCAT. This is the name of the game if you want to do well. Along with that, as I mentioned, right? So just do that. I think you all will be able to. Yeah. Charitesh, SP upon CP approach can also be used. Otherwise, also, if they say selling price of one item is the double of the selling price of the other item. So after making that same, as I mentioned, multiply the first with 2, you can make it 2, or they can give you in any ratio also. So it's just that you need to think proactively that if they say ratios, SP same, I can do that. If they say CP same, I can do that. If they say SP is in the ratio 2:3, I can do that. By making it same, multiply with this, I can do this, right? So it is how we'll be able to do this. So Jinesh, what you are doing when it comes to this is absolutely correct, but more the merrier, Archit. But at this point of time, the first thing that you'll be doing is nothing but PYQs. And also in the SIMCAT, if you're not able to perform in any of the particular section, because you can see that in the analysis, how many questions of arithmetic came and how many you did. and you identify that, okay, what is that area where you are lagging? So what you'll do is nothing but you'll go back, revise that particular topic. If you're not taken the benchmark test, take that so that you'll be able to strengthen that area, and then you take the next sectional. Khushi, it's all about exposure. And because the earlier topic you might have done little earlier, so do not put any kind of pressure that I need to do this, although this is not your 10th, 12th graduation exam where I need to put tick, 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 tick on subject. No. Even if I do less, I'll ensure that whatever I've done ample amount of practice. I always talk about that. This is the time where you need to, concepts are important. So therefore, even if I do 10 concepts out of 20, but I'll ensure that I'll do ample amount of practice so that this is something which I know and I look out for that. And the data says there are 8 to 11 questions which comes from arithmetic. Try and make that as concept, as a strength. So it'll come by practice, but you need to put your in that condition again and again. And we've got a lot of sectional tests to work on that also. Right? So if we do this, so probably things will fall in place. Yeah, Vedika, when you talk about algebra, so logarithmic function is something which we know every time there's a question on that. Progression, which is there, quadratic and linear equation. So when you talk about IMS material, SimCAT, the module 2, 2.5, 2.8, 2.10, and then 2.7 also, which is Hertz and indices. If you do these 4 questions, 4 topic, you'll come across around 4 to 5 questions from algebra also from here. Yes, Rajapriya, it all depends upon how many SIM cards that you have left with, because ideally I always say that you should not take more than 2 SIM cards per week. So if you have got SIM cards with you, which are good enough in number, so obviously then I would want that you can solve PYQs to strengthen your concept, not taking as a test, and then applying that in the actual SIM card. That's what you can do. Exposure. History is the future. It's the exposure which is there. When you keep on solving that level of question, automatically your brain is trained. That is why I mentioned that give yourself always a time-bound activity. Samay is almost equal to what I'll encounter and then do it. Then only we'll be able to do this, right? So this is what the name of the game is. And we'll be keep on meeting and doing lot of things also. If you're a part of IMS also, you can DM me on the Telegram so that I can revert you, right? So that is it. All the very best to all of you guys. That's it from my guys. Thank you so much for being there. And then all the very best. Celebrate Diwali. Enjoy. But at the same time, do the other things also so that you'll have an edge. Beat the competition. That's the thing that we need to do. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you so much.